This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pointy Bakery. If you're located in the Pointy area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pointy Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, so this will kind of have to be a little bit of a quick one because I'm trying to squeeze it in before Terry gets back because we have so much more to paint. And I just wanted to say that anybody who's undertaking the endeavor of painting an apartment, I feel for you. Even though we don't have that big of a space, like it's like 2 bedrooms, you know, main hallway, bathroom. It's just taking so much time. Like, so one thing the guy said is like, oh, if you buy the more expensive paint, you don't have to prime it as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like primer turns out to be glue. I thought it was like a white base and then you just like paint on top and then it like shows better. But apparently like primer's glue. And then if you buy a more expensive can, it's just more glue inside that thing. That's why they cost more in terms of price. So you bought like one up from the cheap one and like it kind of worked.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just still better to prime it. So you're kind of like, I'm just doing, well, unless we get the most expensive one, but those are like almost $100 per can. But anyways, so like imagine the tediousness of having to prime an entire apartment and then paint it and then do another coat on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going with it. And then you have to take everything off the walls, put them in the center, and like is rough. Like Athena can't run around, so she's like at my parents. Yeah, right. So it sucked. We were kind of worried that she's gonna like lick the paint, but she didn't end up doing that. Like the paint.
Right. Yeah.
I was trying to throw it out there. Yeah, it's been so tough. But whatever, the end product will be sick. Another thing I quickly wanted to talk about was the fact that, I mean, this might be a longer topic than I thought, but you know, like different cultures around the world, they do specific things, right? Like that you think, why would I ever do that?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, in Italy,
yeah,
this is actually a coffee story. You know how, hold on, boost the volume here, headphones. You know how like when you go to a different, like orange juice,
yeah,
you're like, oh, it's just fresher here,
mm-hmm.
right? So then you're like, why don't I just squeeze the orange juice, make fresh orange juice?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's logical. So when we went to Italy, I was asking for coffee, and they'd give you like these small espresso shots, right, of coffee, and then you're like, no, I want the longer, like the actual cup of coffee, and they're like, oh yeah, it's Americano. But then I started like thinking about it, like why do they drink such small shots of coffee? You know, because when I drink coffee, like it feels kind of gross because there's so much acid in my body. Because like coffee is pretty acidic, so imagine filling up to wake yourself up. You have to drink so much coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got an espresso machine for Christmas, and because I've been like talking about it, so I drank the espresso, and not only is it like a tiny bit, like this size right here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
Yeah.
This size right here is all I need, and it lasts like the whole day. Like the wakefulness.
Mm-hmm.
I was like amazed. So it's like you can get so much more caffeine out of a smaller, like, you know,
right,
like smaller amount of fluid.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's why they do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Italians with their like one shot and then they're like going about their day. They're not like holding on to coffee all the time. You know, like people at work, like you have a coffee mug.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But if you just took the espresso shot, like I haven't had to have a Monster. Like, you know how much I drink Monster, right? It's pretty shocking that like the espresso stabilizes the amount of caffeine and it like I guess slow release. Maybe it's like our human bodies know what to do with this compared to like the crash of Monster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. It's like what other
I guess
secrets
it's more
from
like
around the world.
I'd have to look into like how the enzymes or like how the breakdown is done for espresso.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like so another great example of this is if you so a lot of like the Mediterranean diet, right? You know how they squeeze so they have like a lot of we'll say Greek potatoes actually. So Greek potatoes are like carbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they put oil, so that's fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then they squirt um like the lemon on top, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, that's just like flavorfully good. They've been doing it for thousands of years, right? And what you find out is the reason why people have like, you know, like the Inuit communities, they have like diabetes because they're just eating potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just eat a potato itself, your body can't regulate the carbs fast enough. Or like it's too quick for the sugar and your blood imbalance, right? Um, I'm not a scientist, so I won't like go into the specifics. But what I found out through like nutrition is the oil and the lemon counteract the carb breakdown, so it slows it down and regulates it, so you don't get like a high
Mm-hmm.
like spike and crash.
Right.
Isn't that wild? It's
Yeah.
like but you guys have been doing this forever,
Mm-hmm.
and we're now like catching up, kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't. More like I think it's like lost in. I don't say translation. It's like lost in knowledge.
Yeah,
It's a lost in
right.
knowledge thing. Or it's like there's a reason why we started doing that. Then we forgot. Like you know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
we
Yeah,
don't we
yeah,
didn't ask the question of why we're doing it. We were just doing it.
yeah, totally.
Right. So
Yes.
then when you bring it like as you're saying the Inuit people just eating potatoes, well that at that point they didn't understand why they were adding other things to it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And we thought it was just like, oh, it's flavoring, right? You're just making Greek potatoes out of this thing, but it's like, no, those two other things actually help regulate the amount of sugar. You just didn't know that.
Right.
But like, they weren't scientists. They were just doing it through, I guess, like bro science back in the day. You know?
No. I don't know if it's necessary. Like I don't know like how you come into that level, right? Maybe it was science at that time. Like
Oh, true.
like they were
Somebody actually
having
studied it.
yeah. Like you don't know like
That's interesting.
when that was figured out, right? It's not like they
Yeah,
just knew right
facts.
away or bro science. It was just like
Yeah,
I feel like
true.
there was like things. I feel like there was
there's like,
some form of science. Like you don't just grow
yeah.
potatoes and then just you add other things. There's a reason you do that, right?
For sure, but I meant more like contemporary science, where you're like actually looking at blood sugar levels and all that.
Yeah, no.
It's more like,
Now
how
that
do
we
you feel?
have, yeah, exactly. Now that we have, maybe they had instead of like doing the blood, like actually having levels to look at, they probably were seeing it based on over time testing. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure.
trial and error kind of thing. So it's like now we can
So,
actually see the direct effects.
and but through like science, we can like
Through,
corroborate
yeah.
its
Through modern
efficacy.
science. Yeah, through modern
Yeah.
science.
So there's another thing that so the Gracies, they have this thing called the Gracie diet, and the grandfather of how's the connections?
It's
Choppy?
good.
No?
Nope.
All right, solid. Ethernet cord. That was the trick. uh, so so the Gracies, the grandfather was more of like a yogi than he was a jujitsu person. So he actually studied yoga simultaneously with
Mm-hmm.
jujitsu, right? And what he was saying is like jujitsu is great for like fighting, but we need to learn how to make the body more um like we have to take it more holistically. Your body is a temple, you know, like very yogic, right? And what he did was he was doing observation through like what do I feel when I'm eating
Mm-hmm.
chicken plus this?
Right.
And then he'd write it down like, okay, what about this combination? And then he came up with what they call the Gracie diet, which is a way to combine your foods so you actually feel better throughout the day for training. But like you were saying, it's not like it's anecdotal science, you know, but it's not like blood work. They didn't check the blood work.
Yeah.
But that's probably what they did back in the day. There's like, oh, don't do this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
They're running through more intuition.
Yeah, I think
Right.
what he was saying too, like like what you're feeling, like how
Yeah,
was your
totally.
day?
Yeah,
Like, did you feel more tired today or whatever?
for sure.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like it, and I'm noticing that with the espresso, where it's like I'm rising and falling really quick with the energy drinks. Coffee doesn't last me anymore. And then
Mm-hmm.
with the espresso, it's like, oh, this is it. This is the answer, you
Mm-hmm.
know? because like even like tastes of coffee, but you're just drinking like I would drink like cups and cups of it, so it's like you're not even tasting it anymore, right? But with the espresso, it's like you because the caffeine content is so high, you can make different variations. Like, oh, let me try like a little bit of sugar, or like let me different kind of milk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, fascinating. Makes me want to travel again. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get into that. 2023, what we're looking forward to. Did you? Oh, I didn't watch the. I have on my notes James Cameron, but I didn't watch that thing. But you want to bring it up the respect for indigenous?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I saw
We
like it
talked
was
about
like
last week.
I guess in there's so many interviews that happen, right? And they ask about these sort of things too, which is about like the Native Indian or indigenous representation.
Yeah,
And
that's what I didn't like about it, right?
yeah, and he even mentioned it where it's like you can where you're taking without taking too much to the point of appropriation, more of a
Okay. Yeah.
respect thing, and then like in because they filmed, I guess I'm not sure if it was New Zealand or Australia, but like those areas, he like for the
For the
Haka,
Maori?
yeah, for the Maori, for
Yeah.
the Haka specific, like the thing in the movie, the Haka, I don't know what they call that, like
The Haka. It's the
oh, it's
Haka.
just called Haka. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Haka.
So that was he asked for permission. I think he did that even for the first movie, so but it wasn't in the first movie.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, so he'd planned to do something like that
Hmm.
before. That's cool. So what you're saying is like it wasn't. It was backed by respect.
I think yeah, I think him saying that, acknowledging that where you can, where you're bringing in representation or taking some things, but without taking too. I guess that's the line that you're playing where it's like, is it appropriation or not? And I think if that was on his mind when
Yeah.
he's doing it, so I guess he's doing it, in my
Oh, well,
opinion, more
for
respectfully than if you
right,
didn't
right.
have that on your thoughts at all.
For me, it wasn't really we won't go back into it
Yeah,
too much, but like it wasn't really the appropriation aspect for me. It was still just like the stereotyping. It's like highlighting the like my opinion hasn't changed. Just because you got like you got permission to do it, it's still like the execution was kind of like awkward to me. But it's funny though because I'm hearing a lot of people. It's so mixed. Like I'm hearing a
yeah,
lot of people
yeah,
say like I liked it, and I was like what?
yeah.
And then I was listening to a podcast and like they said people were walking out of the theater because they were bored, and I'm like yeah, that's how I felt. So it's like such a 50-50 split for this one, you know?
It's very odd that it's how it's 50-50. I mean, I don't say it's odd. I guess that's just art, right? Some people
Yeah,
like it,
yeah,
some people
true.
don't like it. So it all depends on if you can hook you in the beginning or not. So
Yeah, facts, facts.
like I
Actually,
haven't
yeah.
watched all of Glass Onion yet. I've
Oh,
only seen the beginning,
you
and
were bored?
I didn't get hooked in the beginning yet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's
So
another 50-50 one.
yeah. Well, I gotta finish it because maybe it was like something's gonna happen as soon as I finish that part. But it's like I've watched I don't know how much
Wait, which
minutes.
parts did you get up to?
They're on the island. There a little bit of some stuff happened on the island, but like I haven't. No murder has happened yet.
Oh,
So to that point, I
okay.
haven't really liked
Yeah.
anybody. Like it hasn't like they haven't hooked me yet,
Yeah, yeah, I see what
and
you're
I think they
saying.
need to hook
Yeah.
me in the first 20 minutes,
Did you like
at
Bus
least the
Sister?
first 10 minutes. Uh, I, there's not enough time to really like
Yeah,
care for
okay,
any of the
okay.
characters. Is what I'm saying, right? So I haven't really.
Okay, okay. Wow, so interesting. Yeah, that's funny. It's like everything is well, there are movies that everyone like collectively agrees upon, but it's so funny with these certain ones that they're like hit or miss. Like you either like it right
Hmm.
away or you
Hmm.
don't. You know.
But it's like
So
for like
yeah,
Avatar, like they're doing. I guess maybe everyone's watching it so that you're getting the 50-50, but they're making it as
facts. Yeah.
they've already made like over $1 billion.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I mean, like the hype, people want to go see it again. But yeah. Speaking of like 50-50 split, as we often do, like New Year's, Tara and I like go to a restaurant and watch a movie. So we saw The Whale.
Hmm.
We literally walked. You will love it. You will love it. No, I know. I know for a fact you will love this movie. It's so good, but it's so bad. Like it's hold on. How do I explain this?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's so good from an artsy perspective,
Okay, okay.
but it's so bad because you're just watching this guy's boring life of him being obscenely obese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like what the addictions of food and like why he got into is like based on trauma. But it was like I'm just watching this guy live. This guy who I would never want to aspire to be like, just live out his life.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you will like it because you love that human element.
yeah.
So it's filled with like the dramas associated with it, like what his relationships are like with his
Right.
kid, his wife. Yeah. Actually, well, okay, spoiler alert. Not really, because it happens in like the first 10 minutes or like 5 minutes of the movie. He's actually gay. So the whole trauma associated with it is like, he's supposed to be straight or like cisgendered, as they say. And then he has like a daughter, but then he's like hiding who he is. And then that creates the trauma of like the spiral,
Right.
you know? Yeah. We literally walked out. I was like, Tara's like, is this boring? And I was like, I think it is. But I'm kind of invested. And then like we had maybe 30 minutes left. And I was like, let's just go home and watch the Kardashians. Because it's the same. It's like you're watching like a real life play out,
Right.
but it's not negative.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
superficial happiness.
Right, right, right,
Whereas like this is just sadness upon sadness,
right.
you know. But you will love it. Like Brendan, I get why he got a lot of acclaim for this movie.
Yeah. A lot of people were
Because
talking about it,
oh,
or in
it's
the
it's
critics world.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The 3D is not that good. Like
What?
he's not even a fat suit. No, like because how do you display him being obese,
3D?
right?
What do you mean 3D?
Oh, sorry, not 3D. Sorry, special effects. My bad.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The special effects were like you could tell it's CGI, fat like
Was it fat
obesity.
suit? I think it's suit, right?
No, it's like a suit,
Plus,
but
probably
then
both. Probably both.
yeah,
Okay.
like he probably had like a green suit on, and they just filled in because it's like you'll see what I mean. Like the fat is like unrealistic because nobody could get that big. Like you'd be dead. Like it's too big,
Right.
you know. But his portrayal in it, and like you see him using food to quell his like suffering, is just it's really good. But I will not be rewatching or finishing that movie. Like, you will love it, though. Like for sure, it's a your movie. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah. I've always liked Brendan Fraser.
I'm same. Tara didn't even know who he was. I was like the Mummy. What? She doesn't really watch like mainstream
Well, I knew him.
movies.
Yeah, The
So
Mummy, Tarzan,
yeah.
George of the
Blast
Jungle. Is that the same one?
Blast
Yeah,
from the Past.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was so famous.
Yeah, like, yeah, some things happened and he stepped
Walk
away
away
from.
for a bit.
Yeah,
It's funny.
he's
when you
back
see,
on. He was
like-
on TV though for the last few years at least. So
Oh, okay.
this is
maybe
like his
that's
big
comeback
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting when you see like actors. I've been watching more plates, more dates, the YouTube channel, and I got into Daniel Craig, and so I won't get into like the chemistry of like the Jackness, but what he was saying is he got the Bond film when he was 38, and I was like, oh, all these people that we think of as iconic, like they don't peak in their acting until they're like late 30s into their 40s. Even Brad Pitt, he was like 30 something when he did what was that iconic movie? I forget.
Which
It's like
one?
Fight Club or something. Fight Club maybe. He was like into his 30s,
Okay.
right? But you're like, oh, they must be young. But when they're young, so like, they do them in movies and in TV shows. They pick an older person to play a younger person.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when you're seeing him portray like a 20-year-old, he's actually like 30.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was
Right.
like, wasn't it like the John Travolta too? Like, was it
He peaked like he
for
got famous when he
Greece?
was
It
old.
was like high school, but they're not.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And he's like a grown man. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but you're seeing difference now with like Netflix and stuff. You're seeing like younger kids play actual young kids. You know, maybe they figure out the homeschooling aspect. I'm not sure, but like
But I think they couldn't get away with the high definition and makeup. like to kind of like
Oh, now they're like, oh, he's gonna look old.
yeah.
You'll see like the stubble on his face. Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, but it's weird when you think like these actors who made it in these iconic
Hmm.
roles, it's not till later. And it makes you wonder like how much work do you got to put in before you're actually recognized?
Right.
Like Daniel Craig was doing like he went through his film career to show like his progression and like his
Hmm.
potential steroid use. And so they went back to like his old films to look at baselines of like what his body looked like. But he had been doing so many movies. I was like, I didn't even know this guy was doing these movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just the first time I heard about him was James Bond.
Yeah, but they
You
don't.
know,
You don't. I
oh
mean,
Layer Cake, not James Bond.
right? Okay,
Because
okay.
yeah,
No, but like there is a reason they don't just pick. They don't all most of the time. They don't pick
it's your
random
body of work.
people, right? It's a body of work. They look at that,
But you
right?
never. But I like as a kid or like growing up, you never think about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, so you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he must have been. This is his breakout role. It's like, bro,
Mm,
I've been doing this for years.
right.
You know, but I feel like that's like with everything. That's probably why they say like you have to just keep going until, or like preparation and luck. You know,
Hmm.
it's like when your time comes, you'll be ready. That's what the whole preparation is for.
Yeah.
It's like James Bond wouldn't have came if I didn't do those like horrible movies prior.
Hmm.
You know? Yeah, fascinating. Oh, actually, to go back to Avatar really quick, Kate Winslet. I didn't know. Do you know who she played?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't
I
know,
like.
but I knew after.
Yeah.
Like I knew beforehand, but like it's hard to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Watching the movie, I was like, who is she? What?
Yeah.
Like, she's not in this movie. And then it's like, oh, she played the Indigenous
Hmm.
Queen. I was like, oh, okay. That's a great role because I did not. I had no idea.
Right, right, right. I think that's like our first time back with James Cameron after Titanic.
Oh, really?
That's what people were like,
Wow.
"Oh, you're gonna bring Leo back?"
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah. Yeah, she did a great portrayal if you couldn't even tell
Hmm.
it was her. Like her voice didn't even sound like her, you know?
Yeah, it did not sound like her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was did you know that the old lady played the daughter?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
dude,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what? I
yeah.
was like I thought this was a new person.
No, 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 no. Yeah, it sounded like her.
It did. That's why I was like, is it her daughter? I'm so confused because she's like young,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, it'll be interesting like the technology in the future to see like what acting will be like.
Yeah,
Because like with this, it's like I thought you were like
yeah.
her daughter.
I saw this like a clip with two, like James Cameron and another director, like they're just talking, like interviewing kind of each other, kind of like that,
Uh,
and like a lot of directors, like Christopher Nolan or like the one that did Dune, they
uh,
like to be on actual real sets, like real places, because ideas come from there when you're
oh,
on the
interesting.
actual place. So like that guy, the Dune director, was telling James Cameron, like, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you visually see everything without there
Mm.
nothing being there?
Right, 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 right,
And like, how
right.
do you, like you get inspiration when you're on on scene on set,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
like
you're, oh, I can do this
yeah,
kind of shot, or I can do this. Like we can do like, you know what I mean? Like you can get so
yeah,
much
no,
more
no,
ideas when you're there. So like he was praising James Cameron for like, how do you see things when you're when nothing is there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. His like visual imagination must be like off the
Yeah,
charts,
yeah.
you know?
But
It
his
makes
like,
you, yeah.
but he's been in the industry for so long, right? Like
Oh
we don't even
yeah,
know that he's done Terminator. He did
yeah, yeah,
Titanic,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all these big movies. So
Yeah. Like not to put myself on the same boat as James Cameron, obviously, but like I noticed that too, where like somebody will ask me to do design, and I'll be like, yeah, give me like 20 minutes, and they're
hmm
like, how did you come up with this? Like
right.
in 20 minutes? But it's like I've just seen so much
Hmm.
over time, like problem solving machines. Like if you go back to like last week, like James Cameron has probably just problem solved so many times that
Hmm.
his brain is like working on another level. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Or like jujitsu's like that, playing guitars like that. It's like you've just been there so many times that
Hmm.
it's like we don't need to.
Yeah, you don't see
Yeah,
all
you know
the
what I mean?
steps that took up to that
Yeah,
point. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. Um. Okay, how much time we got left? Okay, I'm just waiting for Tara to text me. I'm like, okay, that's when I'll start wrapping
Okay,
up.
okay.
Um. Oh, actually, I wrote this down. I don't know which one I'll go after first. Have you seen White Lotus yet?
I've only seen the first episode. That was a little
Of
while
the
ago.
second season?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I won't go into that then. But you see the Andrew Tate thing that just happened? All right, full disclosure, I don't watch Andrew Tate. I don't really know too much about him. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know who Andrew Tate is?
Yeah.
Okay, so like as a superficial overview, he's just like an ex MMA fighter that's like championing courage in men and like bring back like masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. So he got caught allegedly in a human trafficking scandal recently. Do you see this?
I saw this. I don't know how
You don't
much
think
is
it's real?
true.
Whoa. Okay, blow my mind. Go ahead. Tell
What
me
I what
about
I
it.
mean by that is like this is the problem with breaking news.
Okay.
Uh, like, did you know about the Greta Thunberg
No,
part of that story?
I know about her.
Right, and it's like people were saying like, oh, because he did something with this pizza boxes, like talking about her, and then showing the pizza box. That's not like this news spread like, oh, that they
Oh,
knew that he was in Romania because of the pizza box.
yeah.
Yeah, that like again, that's like breaking news. But
No, to
I
catch him though, just to catch him.
no, I know, but that's not true.
Oh, wait, what?
That part's
Wait,
not.
hold on, wait. Okay, wait. All right, let's break it down. The catch part's not true, but the human trafficking's true.
No.
Human trafficking's not true, so both are
We
not
don't
true.
know what is true. We don't know what the actual
What?
scenario was. We don't know what was it a SWAT like was it a swatting thing? Was it an actual human trafficking? I'm not saying that there is.
Swatting. What's swatting?
Oh, swatting is like someone saying that they have something in their house. Like this happens to streamers a lot.
Oh, I got it. It's like, yo, check out my like back when weed was legal. They're like, check out my weed plant, but you don't actually have a weed plant.
Yeah, and then like some like viewer or somebody calls in like, oh, they have like calling it the cops saying that they have guns or they have people that are kidnapped or something like human trafficking thing.
Oh,
But we don't. All I'm saying is all I'm
oh.
saying is this is the issue with breaking news where we don't have all the information yet. We don't
Did they
really know
say?
the story. People are
Did they at
gonna
least say?
Hmm?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
so like the pizza box thing. What I heard from another thing saying that that's not true. Like they didn't because of the pizza box. They went in that they knew he was there is not true.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Always breaking news. There's always going to be wrong information because it's being.
How does that take? How does that take away from the human trafficking thing?
We don't know if who said the human trafficking thing. Was it a human trafficking thing? Was it a swatting thing? I don't know what's the actual true story here.
Okay.
All I'm saying is,
Interesting.
wait a few days.
Yeah.
Then we can actually know
Okay.
what the actual
Okay.
scenario
Okay.
is.
Fair. All right. So we won't talk about Andrew Tate, but it was interesting
Mhm.
that these celebrities and these like people of high positions are into like human trafficking, like sex work. You know,
Mhm.
like Ghislaine Maxwell. Who else?
Oh, right, her. Okay.
Right. You know, like weird, like you ever see? I didn't finish it, but like Eyes Wide Shut.
It sounds
They're
familiar,
like
but I
really
don't remember.
rich. They're really rich, and then these like parties are like very sexual. They
Okay,
wear
no, I
masks
don't. I
and
don't
stuff.
remember. No.
Okay. Um, it was in Da Vinci Code as well. They were
Mm-hmm.
watching them like make love
Okay.
like in a room.
Okay.
Like, it was like very like not satanic, but like because they were
Ritualistic.
trying to ritualistic. They were trying to pass on the genetics of Jesus. That's why they were like watching
Okay.
them, But like
Right.
it always comes back to these weird sexual party and practices, Or even the girl from Smallville,
Oh yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's just like pervasive. And if you watch White Lotus, they get later into it. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm pretty far in, and they kind of get into that. Like he's so rich now, And then they start talking about like suggesting, they didn't fully name it, but like the Illuminati and like a secret society full of like really rich people. Because like one of the guys just got really rich, and then his friend invited him to the resort
Mm-hmm.
to ask him for some stuff. And he's also really rich. And he's like, this is just what we do. You know, they were like sleeping with like prostitutes and stuff. It was just interesting that you're kind of like highlighting this potential reality in society, you know, of like, well, not real, it's not potential, it's actually real because Ghislaine Maxwell, you know,
Yeah, I
got
I
killed.
saw like TikTok is really good at that because I saw another video where someone's talking about human trafficking, like
Okay.
how um a lot of the times it's more I don't want to say a lot of the times it's like there's different types of scenarios that cause that to happen,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
or people put people in other situations like that. It may not even be like it's this is I think like human trafficking is just a variety of different things, right? Those are like
They like lumped together,
specifically,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, those are like specifically
Like we think of
with
the
the upper
worst case
class.
scenario.
Yeah. But like
Yeah,
there's like a
okay.
lot of the people where it's more like the boyfriends are pushing the girlfriends into this sort of
Yeah, okay,
into
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
totally.
world and
Yeah.
stuff. More like abusive in that way, right?
Like if it was
So
like OnlyFans and you're like, come on, let's just make an
yeah,
extra bit of
yeah,
money.
that could be part of it too. Yeah, that's part of that could be a part of human trafficking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So that's fascinating because it's like what constitutes like what is the worst case scenario compared to like not, you know?
Hmm.
But what I was thinking about is it's similar to drugs. When you make some or like alcohol, prohibition makes anything like no. If there is a desire for it, then people will fulfill that desire no matter how much you try and suppress it. And prohibition only makes people who are not legitimate more rich.
Hmm.
So somebody's going to make money off this thing because so they're going to sell it. If there's demand, there will always be supply, right? So if you look at the moonshine days
Yep.
of
Yeah.
alcohol, right? I think was it Al Capone? That's how he got really rich.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then like when they legalized it, those people had to turn their businesses legit, right?
Hmm.
Think about all the people who were growing marijuana, and then now it's legal. It's like okay, you could just like apply for a license, open up your own thing.
Hmm.
It's like actual business now, right?
Right.
So what if you just legalized everything and we just created commerce out of everything?
Yeah.
The
They're
only
right.
issue,
Hmm.
the
Go
only
ahead.
issue is taxability.
Hmm.
I believe that 100%. Like if you go back to the earlier podcast, I'm sure I was championing this because I was championing it forever. That the only reason why that they made weed illegal for so long is they couldn't figure out the best way to tax it. Now they've like, oh, we have our actual system. Like, how long were they working on the OCS, Ontario Cannabis Store or whatever, long before it became legal? They were setting up their logistical supply chain before they made it legal, and they're like, "Oh, it's legal now. Hey, look! Oh, we already have this whole supply chain. We could fulfill your need,
Hmm.
right?"
Hmm.
And I think it always comes down to business. It's like they're just waiting to like figure it out.
I
And
don't think
with
it's
like sex trafficking,
always. It's not necessarily always that. I think it's also what societal viewpoints on that. So like, um,
yeah. But okay, go ahead.
because of who you're voting for, right? So that was one of his. Um,
Trudeau. We're
yeah,
talking about Trudeau.
yeah,
I think either way, you would have. Oh, all right, I get it. It's like chicken or egg. Which
yeah,
came first?
yeah. I think because
Okay.
he campaigned on that, right? That was one of the things that people wanted.
But I
Where
think the other guy would have made it
I've
legal too.
which other guy?
The Conservative Party.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah,
We'll never know.
exactly. But he
Yeah.
didn't campaign on that, though, right?
Right. But I think
So I don't
these
think he
things
would
are
have worked on those things unless he actually campaigned on them. So, like, anyways, but no one's campaigning on human trafficking.
no, for sure. But it's like
Everyone's campaigning
right,
on protecting people from human trafficking, if anything.
right. Okay, but okay, we see that there is a demand for it. Like
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Like there are
Like,
people that are. It's also just not in societal viewpoints or what do you call it? Like
no, Amsterdam, they have it. Brothels.
no, they have
Amsterdam
it.
was
Yeah, they have
right.
it. Right.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like there are places that offer these things
Yeah, yeah.
because they've figured out a way to manage it. Because think about
No,
what
no, I'm
goes on
not.
here.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying like Canadian society,
No, for sure.
right?
But we are not as open about
Mm-hmm.
our desires.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, if
Actually, there's like there's like certain laws too where it's like you can. It's like you can advertise it, but you can't like what's the word? Like I think you can sell it, but you can't buy it. Something like that. It's like a weird.
it's decriminalized. It's like drugs. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
if you have it, we won't charge you for it.
Right.
Like something like that. You mean?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not there yet. Yeah. It's like there's gray areas.
Or
Like
human
even
trafficking. Or like
I'm
no,
not,
we won't call it
human trafficking is bigger.
Wait. All right. No. Human trafficking is a symptom of prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have human trafficking if you just legalized making money off of intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about strippers.
Yeah.
If
That's
they
a
just
legal
can't,
business.
right? Legal, but you just can't solicit sex.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it under the table,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you can't. That's illegal, but yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. You could do it on the table, like without them knowing. It's illegal to pay somebody without telling the government.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
under the table, right?
Right.
So apparently in America, though, there's this law where if you claim it on your taxes, you can't be charged for it, like in court or something like that.
Yeah. No,
Because they want
you're
you
just
to-
you're just putting it as an income. They're not asking you where you're getting the money from necessarily.
Yeah. I just heard it tangentially in a podcast. I won't even go into that because I don't know too much. But
I'm sure you can do that here too. It's just income, right?
no, but like he was saying that there's like this clause that you can say where you made it in order to.
Maybe it might be like
still,
yeah, it might be state wise depending on the state. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Because certain states have.
It's sort of like in law you can't condemn yourself or something.
Yeah.
You
I know what you're
like,
saying.
If you're on the stand, you can't. There's a legal loophole where you can't like put yourself in more harm legally, something like that. But anyways, that's like
perjure yourself. That's
yeah, exactly. We'll get off that topic though. But so if you could just okay, we do it already, but imagine we do it under the table already. I'm sure at strip clubs, strippers are taking money for extra. But if you could regulate it, that's the only issue. Like, how do you make sure that they're safe? Is there a way to report incidences? You know what I'm saying? You have to create a whole new tax bracket for it, unless you just lump it in with personal income. I don't know, but there'd be so much change to the system that they're not willing to make that change, or it's just too much work to make that change. Like I was saying, how long?
I don't think. Again, I think it's more about it's a societal thing. It's who you're voting for, right? If you really want that kind of change.
No, but because who's running off of that policy?
No one's, because it's not in society's viewpoint. Yeah, it's not in society's viewpoint, right? If societal viewpoints were changing on that.
No, I'm sure there are people who would like that change to be made.
I'm sure. No. I'm not saying that there aren't people like that. I'm saying there's not a majority of people like that.
That are willing to come forward because it's a
sure. Yeah. It's still, as I'm saying, societally, it's not viewed upon fondly. Yeah.
But it's sort of like this. Because we were having this conversation yesterday. Like I bought a beer at Union Social, right? and funny enough, I got carded, but that's a different story. So she was like, it's not, well, no. I was like, it's not weird to buy a beer, but it would be weird if I bought a joint, pulled it out, and smoked it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You would get a different look from other people. But the chair's like, but it's legal now. I'm like, it's legal, but it's still stigmatized.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's the same thing as like the sex trade work, It's like it's stigmatized,
I've
but
heard it where
a
it's
lot of people do
yeah,
it.
yeah. I've heard where it's like this is the oldest industry.
That's what I mean. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. That's actually what I want to get into, like later on in like this
Mm-hmm.
rabbit hole. But like, if you actually look, exactly, it's the oldest industry. If you look at Roman times, they had
Yep.
sex slaves,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't weird. They had like this person that they called their like boy or girl. They just called it the boy or the girl, right? And they would just like sleep with them. It wasn't a weird thing, you know? But I guess like the argument could be made about like slavery, right? It's like, oh well, slavery, we can't own slaves now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like on that level. So it's like you want to revert back to that times, like
Mm-hmm.
have back black people as slave, like you know what I mean? But it's like, sure, you could view it like that, or you could view it like different. If the person, their only way to make money is this, like what's the difference between a slave and a butler?
Right. Yeah.
Same thing, right? You just change the name. It's just a legal form of commerce now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm Filipino, so I can say this. Filipino people are mostly like house nannies,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's true. You go to like, you were saying it in the Qatar or whatever.
Middle
They're
in
like, oh,
some of the Middle East areas. Yeah.
right. Like, oh, I have a Filipino. Oh, I have an Indian,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're like, oh, that's cool. They're fulfilling the same objective of a slave, but they're not called slaves because they have a living wage.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that really identifies a slave is like your rights. They can quit the job, they can't quit the job,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what's the difference between a slave and a house care person?
Yeah. No. I think it's just the act of you can quit the job, you can do other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's regulation.
Sure.
So we wouldn't have this whole human trafficking thing if you just created regulation around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you agree or no? Because like you were saying the Roman thing, they had a whole
Yeah.
system.
I'm not saying I don't agree. I think that's what needs to be proven, right? To show that would be the case.
History.
Yeah.
It's like what? All right. So
No.
about the slave thing,
That would stop human trafficking.
But it would. It's like how do you stop
Is
the cartel?
human trafficking
Legalize
affecting?
it.
Yeah, no, but is it affecting underage people? Right. So
Yeah, but that would be like buying cigarettes. Like, let me see your ID.
Mhm.
Like, oh yeah, people fake
yeah,
the
yeah.
ID.
No,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not saying that there isn't. I think there are people on that side showing that, but it's still no one is campaigning on this.
Totally,
Right?
because it's like the most taboo thing. One thing that they were
Yeah,
saying.
I think it'll probably eventually change. It's just as more people get educated on it, I guess.
Sorry. Terry just texted me. Oh, antenna. Okay. This is a really great topic, but I have to stop. Okay, cool. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Whoever's listening to this, just audio is probably so bored. One second. Okay, she said she'll sneak in, so you'll probably hear like a little bit of a door open and close. Okay, because I want to keep going because this is really fascinating. Okay, so can you rewind? Say what you just said.
I think I was saying like there are people that are showing that how it will prevent human trafficking.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, but
people that are for that for legalization of it.
But okay, so what I was gonna say was one of the Okay, so two things. one of the unspoken um, industries that really propels technology is the porn industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there is a huge market for like pornography, but it's not in the open collective Discord,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not everyone. Funny, Discord. We're using Discord. Um, so not everyone's going to admit their pornographic use, but the amount of industry surrounding it is so high,
Right.
right? It's really just we don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just have the conversation, we can start opening up industry in order to regulate this so things like human trafficking wouldn't happen.
Right.
It's just like the Mexican drug cartels, all that stuff.
I think that's what needs to be kind of spoken to society, where it's like how it prevents from
right.
actually causing human trafficking.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's being heard, right? They feel like it's going to cause more human trafficking. That's
such
I feel like that's
look
what
at history. It's like
Yeah.
just look at history. That's the like you know I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I think anybody who talks about it in terms like that, they just haven't read enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
No,
like
no,
if
no.
you just look into
Yeah. No. I think a lot of it's like that. Like we've been speaking about, like the legalization of marijuana will
yeah,
prevent a lot more drug wars,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that was spoken about for years and years, but again, it's not into the society's thinking, right?
Because I think they need to. Well, two things. First, you need to society like government is a giant machine, right? In order to make change in a giant machine, it's like one small change in the right direction will
Mm-hmm.
spark, you know, like
Yeah.
a butterfly
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be overnight.
No, I feel like again, it's like I think is going to probably eventually happen if it's more in the younger generation. So when they get more power.
Totally. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's like Elon said, it's we need that's why you need death.
Well, Steve
Need them to,
Jobs said that.
leave. Oh, Steve Jobs? Oh, okay. Yeah. So you just need them to die so we can level up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
society. Because if they just kept doing it, it's like, what backwards thinking is that?
Mhm.
You know? Yeah. Okay, so speaking of slaves, because I just listened to the podcast, I was gonna cut up segments of it, but man, I've been so busy with the painting. So Siddharth is his name. It's almost like Siddhartha,
Mhm.
but what he was saying is that cobalt, like for batteries.
Yeah, for the phones, yeah.
Yeah. So he went to these mines and he said that everything is built off of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
They don't call it slavery, but it's like you're paying $1 a day, zero protection, you're in flip flops, you have broken bones, you just keep going. I think it's the Congo, something like that.
Yeah, because there's no real government there. It's very there's no government, so there's no, even though you can have certain rules, but no one's
Totally.
no one's what you call it, like regulating those rules.
Yeah, totally. And what he was saying is that everything we own technologically requires this mineral cobalt.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't realize that our society, like, yeah, climate change is one thing, but also what about like slavery? Like, if you want to champion, being a good human being, you can't use technology because our footprint in technology causes suffering, And then when I heard that,
I'm not saying that that's true. That's happening in Congo. What happens is when it goes into, because you're not buying it directly from Congo, they're selling it to somebody, and it goes into this market, and it goes into a legal market. Then it becomes it's hard to regulate that way, right? It's already now in that.
Yeah, we're using it.
Yeah,
it's already been set
like
up.
we've already bought portions of whoever we're buying cobalt from, but they could be mined from in Congo. But it's like the blood diamond thing. They got into the world of real legal cobalt, you can say.
No. Yeah, and it's hard to change the machine. It's like
Yeah,
the government.
yeah,
It's like we
yeah.
can't go back now. Like, what are we going to restructure everything?
Hmm.
That's my gripe about climate change. It's like you can't restructure everything. We're painting the apartment. This is all fossil fuel
Hmm.
generated,
Hmm.
you know? And when I heard him say that, I was kind of like, but it is what it is. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
You know? He's
And
like,
it's
oh,
also
all
it's
this.
also like it is slavery in that sense, but a lot of those people
Oh,
don't
it's
have
like
any other jobs.
that's yeah, okay. So I've heard that too, where it's like like you're giving me money to
Hmm.
live.
Yeah.
Not that you're giving me enough, but like, but what are you saying
But
is
it's like
that
if I don't do anything, I'm not getting anything. Like I don't get
totally, yeah,
right.
for sure,
That
yeah.
that's the situation in those areas. Yeah.
And what are you saying is that in as we progress towards electric vehicles, we're going to need more and more cobalt.
Hmm.
So we're just feeding more into this slave
Hmm.
trade. You know, it's not human trafficking, but it's a different type of
Hmm.
slavery, you know? And how can anyone, feel good? Again, it's like you just haven't read enough. You know, you haven't heard about these stories. You know, it sucks. Totally. You know, we should change it. But what do you want me to do about it?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. Like, one thing he's saying is like every year a new iPhone comes out and then people want to buy that new iPhone. So, okay, sure, like reduce your consumption. But if you reduce your consumption, what's the trade off to that? Apple makes less money. Apple makes less money. They make not as great products. You know?
Oh, it affects the shareholders.
Yeah, they won't be happy.
Hmm.
So we have this like spider web effect. If you like touch a node, everything else gets affected. And people don't see that, you
Hmm.
know? So I don't know. What are what's your take on that? Because we're both like very technologically inclined. It's like, oh, we're the biggest slave uh assisted people out there.
Right. I think that's all. I don't think that people care as much.
Yeah, I agree. It's like that's luck of the draw.
If
Like we're
you,
all focusing. It sounds so callous, right, to say that,
I know,
but
yeah.
it's so far away. Like if I saw you in person, I'd be like, wow, this really does suck.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I have no power to fix this. Like, what do you want me to do?
Hmm.
Like, what can I honestly do?
Right.
Don't buy that thing. Okay. Like, is that it? So if I don't buy
But
this,
if I
what about
don't,
the other?
but it's like it's a trickle thing though. It's like you're saying not to buy it, but then the people that are mining the cobalt then don't have a job.
No, for sure, for sure. But what if the cobalt people? Yeah, actually, you're right. Like, you're
So
right.
are you saying that they're gonna also starve too? I don't. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, what do you
it's
want me to do? Like, but if they actually,
if
it'd
you're
be different.
saying
If it's
if
like
you're
I
saying
can't
that they
quit the
should
job.
have if you're saying that they should have a better regulation, but they don't have a government there. Do you want another country to go in and take over?
Exactly. Right, exactly. What is the actual give and take of this thing? You're right, because then which country's going to fight for it? Because
Hmm.
whichever country owns that is going to own the rest of the world.
Hmm.
And what he was saying is that right now China owns the majority of the share for that place because they saw it early. They knew everyone's going to go towards electricity, so they're like cobalt, let's go there. So like a lot of the reason why there's like a lot of like lower regulations is because China allegedly doesn't care about that. They just
Right.
care like, well, we need these minerals, right? But then when I listen to this stuff, I'm like, are you painting a bad picture of China and Russia? Like, do we really know that they're that evil? Or are you telling me they're evil? Like, if I actually look at what you're doing and I talk to you, could you sway my opinion?
Hmm.
Is it like this? Is it like this? When you try and tell someone to switch from Apple to Samsung, are they like that? Are they in the camp of like Samsung for life? Or are they like, I'm just following the better technology. So if you present me with a better phone than an iPhone, sure.
Right.
So like, are they like logical about it? If you talk to them, they're like, well, did you read into history? Do you know how industries are made? Do you
Mm-hmm.
know all this stuff? You know? Because like even Vladimir Putin, they were, I was listening to his Joe Rogan podcast, and they put up this video where he said the reason why everyone runs on the same platform but nothing ever gets done is because people in suits come to the newly formed president like, this is actually how everything runs. And they're like, oh, okay, I can't actually do my platform. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like maybe they're in that boat, like China, Russia. They're just playing higher levels of chess than we are.
Probably, yeah. Maybe some
Like,
things in that.
you know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? Like, I don't think they're that evil.
I don't know what. I mean, they need Americans to buy products that they make.
Yeah,
Right? So,
yeah. So it's like, what is this hate that we're all building? Like, I get it. Yeah, you invaded Ukraine. Totally. We don't like that. We don't like war.
mm-hmm.
But like, what was your rationale behind it? You know?
Mm-hmm. Well, they want to bring it back to the old USSR.
That
I don't
makes
know if that's
sense.
true, but that could be true.
Right. But that makes sense. Okay, I get your viewpoint. Cool, you want that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, it's nothing nefarious. It's not like I want to enslave all of humanity. If I heard that, I'd be like, oh, that's crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's not a.
straight
I
up
don't think we
evil.
have a Hitler.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody is coming at it from their positive viewpoint.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they think they're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he was so evil, wouldn't he just blow up the world?
Yeah, we would already be already using nukes, right?
And that would be like in those spy movies, the guy that's trying to destroy the entire world, and the spy's trying to like
Mm,
stop them. That would be that.
right.
He's not the Unabomber. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And nobody. Yeah, I don't think even the European countries in America, they don't want to go. They don't want to fight this war, right?
Yeah.
Like even I think it was the Ukrainians who attacked this bridge. America got mad at Ukraine for doing that because it's instigating
Oh,
war.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, we talked about this. Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so for guys like I don't know. It seems like if you just learn more about how things actually run, you'd have a lot more peace of mind.
hmm
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you'd be like, I get why you're doing it, you know,
hmm
and I get why I'm upset about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's what these like
You know?
what do they call them? UN things are supposed to do, where countries meet or the leaders of the countries meet and solve situations.
That's also something we can't even
And we don't.
partake
We're
in.
not. We're like as individuals, we're not in those meetings, so we don't know what they're
Yeah.
exactly
So
talking
if
about.
you yeah, yeah. So like those conspiracies of these people who this like 1%ers that are running the world. Look at the UN, bro. That's
hmm
it's right there. Like that is literally it. Look at your presidents that are meeting. Like it's not a conspiracy. We called it the United Nations. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these are the people running the world,
yeah,
and we're just in the world.
yeah,
That's a trippy thought,
yeah. I
actually.
don't think anything.
I didn't think about
Everyone.
that until just now.
Oh.
Like really, it didn't really like I thought about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it didn't hit home until I said that. It's like, oh, the 1%ers that we're all talking about, they're literally called the UN.
hmm
Yeah. All right, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, like in those meetings, I mean, there's press as well, so they're asking questions. So it's like, what did he talk about? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
nothing's necessarily hidden. There are some things probably for other,
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, it's national security issues.
yeah, for national security things. But I think the UN in general was meant to be there so that we don't have war. This is
Oh,
where we,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the world governing body,
hmm
and not really because like they can't really.
It's
do
just
anything
an
on their
area
own.
where people would meet to discuss
It's a
ideas
forum.
and yeah, it's more like that. And I think it helps prevent war because if no one is talking, you can have more.
Yeah, true, 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 true.
It's like
Yeah.
maybe there's some misunderstanding. It's like, right, and I think these areas is where you can fix those misunderstandings.
Wait, hold on. Actually, all right, to circle back on the idea of the 1% running the world, who agreed upon the no more coal combustion cars? Let's take that as an example.
Hmm.
Nobody was talking about that. And they're like, hey guys, there's this new thing we're going to do, a bill. We're going to stop coal production cars or combustion engine cars in 2035. And then we're on track because by 2026, there will be no more sold. I just saw that recently, right? And it's like, who chose that? I didn't choose
Uh,
that.
right.
No, you don't say.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
like, I didn't choose that. You didn't choose that. We didn't vote on that, but it's happening.
Hmm.
There it is, the 1% ruling the world. Like those are small examples.
Sure.
We're going to we're going to raise the interest rate of Canada. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who decided that?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, we don't have as much power as we'd like to think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tara's coming home. So we'll just last topic. What are you excited for in 2023? Oh, wait. All right. What did you like most in 2022? And we'll talk about 2023.
What did I like most in 2022?
Like technology. We'll go tech and movies.
Oh, tech.
Oh, wait. Tech, movies, and then something social world.
I don't know. I haven't really. It was a long year.
I know it feels long, right?
Well, movies is. I think it was a good. I'd just say Avatar. Probably my top.
Wow. You're ending the okay.
Uh,
Okay.
technology.
We'll go back and forth. Wait. So I'll go movie.
Sure.
I really like Bullet Train.
Hmm.
That was a good movie. Oh,
Yeah.
Maverick, Top Gun. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are good too. Uh, technology. I don't know what happened. I don't think I.
Oh, actually, did you watch Blood Origin?
I saw a little bit. I don't know. I'm not really.
You weren't a fan?
I need. I don't know. I haven't invested. I don't know.
Okay, so I had it on like peripherally
Yeah.
while I was like painting
Okay.
my side, and I put on Witcher right after. Like it's not. It's just it's the
Like
world. You're
season
like, oh,
one.
that's a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sick world, bro. I totally forgot about this.
Oh,
There's
did.
only it's only 4 episodes, something like that.
Oh, Blood Origin.
I think so. It
Oh.
wasn't long.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it ended before I even finished painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
I was
was it
like,
good?
oh, that was fast. Uh, from what I gotta go back and rewatch it, because I wasn't fully paying attention, but it was good. It's basically the story of the first Witcher, how he becomes the first Witcher.
Hmm. I don't know if this is in there,
Yeah.
but someone was saying that the Witchers are able to have kids, or was that something
I don't
not?
know. I don't think anybody had kids. Oh, did they have kids? Did they have kids? Maybe. Yes, it ended with her pregnancy,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the complaint out of people from the Witcher.
Oh, because the Witchers can't have kids.
Yeah, because then the whole point of Geralt and
No, but I think they. Oh, I
unless
gotta rewatch it.
yeah,
I think they did
I'll
it
watch it.
beforehand. They did it before,
They
and he
became
turned.
Witchers. Okay.
Yeah, so like, if I remember correctly, because again, it was on like on peripherally. Um,
I'll watch it and
he,
see because a lot of people were complaining about that situation.
but I think he got changed later. Like he became the Witcher, like later. All right, whatever.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
whatever.
Yeah, I'll watch and see.
Yeah, but it did make me jump back in the world. I started season one again. I was like, oh, this is cool.
There's only one more
Yeah,
season with Henry Cavill, and that's
I know, it's sad.
it.
And then that'll be it for that series. I don't know if I would keep watching, but you'll see.
Hmm.
Yeah, all right. So tech wise, what was your
I
number
don't
one
think I did
tech?
anything. I don't think I had an. I don't remember anything about tech.
True. I'd say Google Chromecast was a big one, the new one, because I did get that in 2022.
Right. I don't think I bought
They
any
upgraded it.
technology. Yeah, no, I don't think I bought anything.
Okay. When did you get the Corsair chair?
Oh, like just
2022.
yeah.
We'll go with that.
Sure, it's furniture, but
Is it amazing? Do you love it?
sure, yeah. Well, this is the longest time I've sat on it so far.
Oh yeah, true, true, true. Okay. Societally, 2022.
Societally, I guess it's more like moving out and moving into a condo.
Oh yeah, yeah. True, yeah.
Personal
True.
societal.
No, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that counts. I was gonna go with um mandates are basically over. Like COVID's just a
More or
thing
less. I
now.
think I heard that a lot of people who are coming from China have to have a negative PCR test
Oh really?
or a negative COVID test.
No, but I mean like societally, it just seems like we're very chill about it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like even if you are sick, you're like, oh, just
It could be the flu, it could be COVID, could be
yeah, right. So you're like,
anything.
you can do a rapid test.
If you want
Nah.
to.
Yeah, I don't want to. All right, so 2023. Let's go again. Was it movie, tech, and then societal for 2023? And this is how we'll end it because I gotta keep painting.
um, I don't, I don't know what movie's coming in 2023. Offhand. There's always going to be, of course, there's always going to be Marvel movies, but I don't know if I'm necessarily like
looking forward to anything. John Wick 4 for me.
Right.
John Wick 4. I'm going with John Wick 4.
Well, I'm interested with 65.
What's that?
It's like I think they seem like they crash land on somewhere where they have dinosaurs.
Oh, no, he goes back in time. I heard about that.
I'm not sure if it's going back in time or that's what it seemed like. It seemed like going back in time. I wasn't sure what exactly.
Oh,
or was it a crash land on another planet that had dinosaurs?
They're talking about that in Joe Rogan's podcast. That's why I was like,
because it's called 65. I like just called 65, but that just means 65 million years.
Oh, okay, interesting. You like dinosaurs? I don't really like them.
I like dinosaurs.
You know, they're theoretically like the theory about dinosaurs having like leathery skin. They think it's more feathers now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So tech-wise, 2023.
Well, this is the first time experiencing. Will be my first time experiencing the VR.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was hoping you'd say that. I'm excited to hear your review about it. You gotta have me over, yo. Let me try it.
Yeah, sure.
See how realistic that is.
Yeah. I have to get games for it. I don't have any games for it. We'll see what comes available.
True. 2023 technology. I would say, yeah, I agree with you. VR. I'm excited to see what that VR thing looks like.
Also,
that might be. Yeah.
I'm gonna see what CES shows because CES is gonna like start next week or something.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool. Nice. Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah.
CES. For the VR, that could remember how we were talking about Halo when it came out. I was like, oh, I gotta get Xbox. And PlayStation, like Japanime games, you're like, oh, I gotta play that, right? But with PS5, I was like, there's nothing really that I'm like, oh, I really gotta play that. But VR might be the thing.
Okay.
Right? It could be the console seller, you know?
Because I don't think so.
Wow. All right.
I think they got a long way to go still with VR.
Okay, fair.
I think this year was probably I would say the easiest year to get a PS5.
It was $1,000 though.
No, they're not.
Yeah, remember we Googled that one
Yeah,
time.
no, I was at EB Games yesterday.
What price?
It was like $750 with the God of War bundle.
Oh, okay, so it went down.
Oh.
It's not bad. It was, remember we Googled it Because it was like, oh,
Yeah,
water
yeah,
is
yeah,
big.
yeah. Maybe
So it's like $1,000
again,
for a quart.
I think at that time it was like low supply, but by this Christmas there
It was
was
separate.
they had.
No
I think they
cost.
had. I think this probably had the easiest time to find them. I think.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll see how the VR looks and then gauge it from there. Yeah. All right, societal for 2023.
Ah, what's the real recession gonna look like?
Same, bro. I was gonna say like I don't know what we're walking. I don't know what we're walking out of
Mm-hmm.
for this thing. The prices are definitely getting higher, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how bad will it be?
Yeah, nobody really knows.
Oh no. I was listening to them talk about the Great Depression,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying that it was so hard. We're going through a recession, but I don't know if it'll be as bad as that. Wow, this is so bad. Ooh, all right, yeah. I just don't know if because they were saying like people from the Great Depression they were hiding money all over the house
Right.
because they were so afraid that like the banks would fail and then you'd have no money, and then they passed that trauma on forward.
Mm-hmm.
So like they taught their kids to like that's where the whole thing about like cleaning your plate came from. Like make sure you eat
Oh,
all your
right.
food.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
they don't go to waste, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they had that kind of famine mentality back then. And yeah, but the descriptions were so bad, so I'm wondering like, is that what we're gonna go through? Or obviously not a Great
I
Depression,
don't
but
think so. I mean,
no, but like how
I
bad
do,
is this thing actually gonna get?
yeah, I don't really know. No one really knows what exactly, how long or even how short it's gonna be.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah. But you can see definitely the prices are reflective.
Yeah,
Like
there's an
the
inflation.
takeout.
Yeah, there's an inflationary aspect to it that's causing. There's a multitude of things that's causing the increase in prices. Right.
Yeah. And it's also interesting to see too that like a lot of people are oh damn, I gotta get to painting. Our last thing. It's interesting to see too that purchasing decisions are changing too
Mm-hmm.
because of this, you know?
Yeah, that's generally what happens in the recession. Is more like purchasing things are. It's it's more about what you
Need
need
versus like
versus what
want,
you
yeah.
what you want.
Or like alternative things. I don't want to tell you what because I haven't shown you the space yet, and I don't want to give one thing away. But one thing that we are using a lot of is Facebook Marketplace, and I had no idea about this. You can
Mm-hmm.
buy like tech, accessories for your home, like mirrors, cabinets, all that stuff. Like okay, I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Because I want to surprise you with how dope it is. But like buying all this stuff on the cheap is crazy. Like you literally just go to the store, you're like, oh, that's cool. Search Facebook Marketplace. Oh, cool. I'll just buy it for like
Mm-hmm.
80% off.
Right.
You just have to go pick it up.
Yeah.
But that's a purchasing decision going forward that changes because of things like so you can't just like drop all that money,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think those platforms are just gonna get more and more popular and
Yeah.
more powerful over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad they're backed by conflict minerals in the Congo. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. All
True.
right.
True.
Yeah. There's always a yin and a yang to everything. All right. Till next time. Tasty fish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, fish.
Peace.